All right, what is poppin', my ninjas? It's day 10, streaming live every day this month. So you, the Asian guy, can get up to speed with all the modern dating information. So you can make less mistakes out there. All right. If you guys don't know who I am yet, my name is Rob Based. I'm an author, content creator, dating and relationship coach. I started out 7 years ago on this journey, helping divorced dads, but now I'm switching it up a little bit to help out Asian guys because, well, I'm an Asian guy. So it only makes sense if you guys are getting some value out of these streams to hit that like button on the way out. It really helps out this channel. So if you think you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, because I'm going to teach a lot of it in the next coming days, I suggest you subscribe, okay? Get notifications when I'm going to go live. Um, all right. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some female dynamics, okay? Some introductory stuff so, you don't get too overwhelmed with trying to understand it all cuz look, females are they're complicated, all right? So, got to learn how to crawl before you walk, okay? And you got to learn how to walk before you run. So, today, let's just look at it as some crawling lessons, all right? So, baby steps. And I'm going to be using a night game scenario to showcase some female dynamics so you can show up better during these situations or these moments. So you don't come off like a douche or, someone who's uncalibrated uh, and just you end up looking like a fool. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that. So yeah, if you guys do like these types of things, I'll probably do a little bit more. And, I can do other scenarios like first dates, second dates, so on and so forth, how to keynote properly, which is just short for kinesthetic, escalation, aka touch escalation. So, yeah, all right. Without getting into the weeds of it, let me just keep things pretty simple for now. All right. One thing I said in the past stream was that women use their words indirectly to communicate, and well, this goes for their actions as well too. Okay, they're not as forward as us guys usually are. Okay, so for example, you see a cute girl at the bar, you go directly towards her and say, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" And I mean, this is how most guys would approach a woman. But if you know me, I will never tell you to offer a girl a drink right off the bat. Or actually, I never buy girls drinks. It's not something I'm prone to do, but when you do go up to her, you got to open with something like, "Hey, I noticed you checking me out," and make it friendly, or just make it simple and go right in and say, introduce yourself and say, "Hey, I'm Rob. You are," and have your hand out for a handshake. All right. That's how guys hit on women. Okay. We're very direct with it. Okay. But the way women hit on men isn't exactly the same thing. Okay. They'll see you at the bar, smile, fix their hair, readjust their body language towards you, but she will never in her right mind just cold approach you. Okay. And one thing you have to understand about women is they're indirect, like I said. And so they'll give you things called choosing signals or IOIs for short, which is just an acronym for indicators of interest. Okay. So IOIs are choosing signals. And they're basically just subtle ways of getting you to take action or step into your masculine and go open and have a conversation with her. Okay. And as a guy, you should be reading these scenarios, right? The body language, going for the approach, if you think she's giving you any like IOIs or whatever. So, another thing you need to know about female nature in these scenarios is that she has this thing called ASD, okay? And we'll just call that the anti slut defense. So, women have a reputation to uphold, okay? Something you need to understand as well, all right? It's always about looking good in front of others. All right, this is why they wear makeup, and they care so much about their outer appearance and what people think about her. Okay, so when you go and approach her and you have a conversation with her, even if she's into you, she wants to make it hard for you. okay, so that she doesn't look like she's easy or she's a slut. So she might tease you, or she might deny you, a request of when you ask her like for her social media or something, or her number. She's going to want to make you work for it, right? And as a guy, you need to know these kinds of things so that, you know, in the moment that she resists you, either the first or second time, it's just a test, okay? And it doesn't mean that she's rejecting you. She's just seeing to see if like how interested you are in her, okay? So if you approach her, you introduce yourself to her, she's receptive, she gives you her name, and then all of her body language is directed towards you, and so on and so forth, and she's open to your questions, then you know she's interested, okay? If none of these are present, then her attempts at resisting you, like if she's like get lost loser, like those are genuine, okay? She might turn her body away from you, and she's probably, quicker to getting angry and irritated when you do continue to try and talk to her, okay? So at that point, you just got to move on, bro, right? It's like, say, well, it was nice meeting you. I'm going to get on with the party, and you just walk away, right? But if she's digging the convo and everything's going good, and you're like, hey, we should hang out sometime, give me your number, and she's like, no, I don't give up my number just like that, instead of just saying, okay, see you later, right? As most guys probably will, and they'll think of like, oh, she's not interested. You have to understand female nature a little bit more deeper to really move that needle forward for yourself, right? Because like I said, if you go and you open, she was like showing you IOIs. You guys are having a good conversation. Her body language is pointed towards you. Her feet are directly pointed towards you. She's playing with her hair. She's smiling. She's giggling, and then she goes, "Oh, I don't really give out my number to strangers like that." Right? Like, just know she's just being playful. All right. And so after that rejection, you can be like, well, what's it gonna take? Should we go for a dance or something? Be friendly, playful. And then at that moment, you can just have your hand out and see if she'll grab it, right? If she does, then you give her that little twirl, right? And see if she will go dance with you a bit, and kind of just like drag her to the dance floor. Now, if she's still in your frame at that point and smiling and giggling, and she's still like embracing your presence and trying to stay within it, she's just using her ASD against you, okay? So ASD, anti-slut defense. She's just using that against you, and you can continue on pressing with like pressing on with the flirting and stuff like that. All right? But you have to be calibrated at every moment, okay? You got to be very attentive to see if she's still giving you these choosing signals, these IOIs, okay? So let's say everything is good, you go for a quick dance, and at that time, since she obliged you guys having a dance or whatever, at that point, then you would reward her and say, hey, let's go grab a drink, right? Now, I don't usually drink, but I'll get like soda waters or something like that, with some lime. But if you're out there drinking, then there's no shame in offering her a little bevy at that moment, okay? So after you guys have that conversation a little bit, you have a drink, you're done. Then you say, look, I actually got to go, but here's my number instead. How about you call me when you're ready to go on a date, and I'd love to see you. Okay, let's see where things go. And you give her your number and you leave. All right. So, two things. Okay. Just to recap. All right. Knowing indirect subcommunication and body language, it leads to you understanding how to read those IOIs and choosing signals. Okay. And then also understanding the fact that she doesn't want to come off too easy, right? So that ASD that I talked about, you have to learn how to maneuver through that, okay, while you're flirting with her, okay, and not come off too pushy, or and it's like a game of push and pull, okay. You're going back and forth with her. And another thing to understand about female nature here in this scenario is, by you leaving early and cutting the interaction short, you leave a little bit of mystery behind, okay? And women love this, okay? It's actually something that they crave, actually. All right? And not only will you be leaving her like wondering about you all night and into the next day, uh you want, sorry, you want that, and the only way that you can do that is if you're brief with her in that moment, okay, like I said. and you leave a little bit of mystery, right? Don't drag on that interaction too long. Now, obviously, if things are going good, there's, it could, one thing could lead to another. You guys start making out on the dance floor, and things get really hot and heavy, and then like, okay, it's on. You know what I mean? You don't have you could skip all that other stuff, right? And just take her home. But for most guys, it probably won't happen like that. But anyway, um, another thing that is important too, the reason why I think it's more advisable for a guy to leave his number and get her to message or call you is because you want that desire to be genuine, okay? Otherwise, you're giving into her game, and secretly nobody wants that, okay? She doesn't want it and you don't want that, right? You need her to be more into you than you are into her. So another thing as well is if the ball is in your court and let's say you call her and she's having a bad day or whatever and she's just emotionally not in a good place, you potentially might muddy the waters a little bit and she can lose a little bit of interest in you, okay? So when the ball is in her court, she's most likely going to be in a good mood when she contacts you. And that's a perfect time to escalate rather than trying to get her out when she's pissed off or upset. All right. Cause women's moods just change like the weather. Okay. And you'll never know when is a good time. Okay. So it's always a good thing to get her to contact you, or if for some reason you have to message her or something like that, always hit her up with like, is this a good time to chat? Okay. And then you go in for either the FaceTime or the phone call. Okay. In another stream, I'll probably break down like text game a bit. Okay. So you can also do this via text message if you truly want to. I know most, younger girls, they're not really into the phone too much. Okay. So they're more into texting. But for now, we're just talking about warm approaches and kind of converting them to dates and stuff like that. All right. So understanding these little nuances, it's gonna help you become more smooth, less rough around the edges, and the more you practice this, the better you're gonna become at it, obviously. Okay, and it just becomes like second nature to you. Like a lot of guys, they get stuck in their head. A lot of us are like super logical and rational, and we think like, okay, step one, step two, step three, step four. It's not gonna work out like that all the time. Sometimes you gotta like go in and out of steps and use step three before step one sometimes, just to kind of like bring things back to base level, right, and start all over again. Okay, like I said, it's like a game of push and pull, right? So you have to kind of understand this thing about female nature so that you understand whether or not she's really into you, or if she is just looking to disqualify you. Okay. um when you're out there dealing with chicks, just know that it's going to be hard for her to get the ick if she's really, really into you. Okay. And if that's the case, you have a lot of leeway in making some mistakes here. So just don't get into your head too much and think like, oh, I need to be perfect. And if I got to do this move or I got to do that move, like just know that if she's super into you, it's going to be hard for her to get that ick. Okay. So don't be so down on yourself when you do end up making a mistake. Be like, oh, don't be like, oh, I'm such an idiot. And then, because that really does ruin the vibe. And so you have to be able to be forgiving of yourself. Okay. And just know that, like, if things are going well and you do say something stupid that makes her cringe or whatever, it's not the end of the world. Okay. Um, if she didn't like you as a lot, all right, and like you did say something that made her cringe or whatever, she will get the ick, and then she'll just it'll show on her face and her body language and all that other stuff. All right, because like when she doesn't like a dude, she just gets that ick like faster. So like I said, just give yourself some grace when you're out there learning. Okay. um but this doesn't mean you need to be all sloppy with it. Like just try to be on your game and focus more on not doing things that are unattractive as opposed to being more attractive to her, because you've already done most of the work. Okay, she's just looking to disqualify you now. So the more cringe or ick things you do, she's just mentally tallying it all up in her head, and like seeing how much you can put up with. All right. So the less things that you do that are unattractive, the better. Okay. You guys catch my drift a little bit here? Um, all right. I think on future streams, I'm going to be doing a little breakdown of more like first date scenarios or second date scenarios, and like, how can you continue the flirting, and escalate to, playful touching, hand holding, kissing, right, etc. Because there's a method to all that madness, right? Like, because you have to understand, like, hand holding doesn't necessarily equate to kissing, and kissing doesn't equate to getting her into the bed. So, like, don't assume that just because you guys are holding hands that she wants to kiss you all of a sudden, right? Or just because you guys are kissing doesn't mean that she just wants to jump into bed with you. All right. Seduction happens very slowly with women. And it's not like us, where if a girl touches your pee pee, like you're ready to get naked. All right. Women are much more cerebral with it and how they get turned on. So the touch needs to be escalated gradually. And every step is only like an inch towards the goal. So think as if you're like on the 10-yard line and it's going to take a while to get there if you're only moving an inch at a time. You feel me? All right. I'm gonna end the stream here. If you guys enjoyed this type of content, then leave a like on the way out. Subscribe if you want to get notifications on when I'm streaming, because I'll be going live every day for the month of December. So if you are so kind, tell a friend about this channel. I'd be extremely humbled, as it's word of mouth referrals that help this channel grow. So I appreciate it if you do. Much love. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. All right, your boy Rob Bay signing off. Peace out.